Well, hello there, my dear traveller. How lovely to see you on such a fine night as this. What was I doing down there? Oh, I was simply inspecting the tunnel. Why? Oh, just to check it's structurally sound and, more importantly, there isn't anything in it that shouldn't be there. Have I a story involving tunnels? Well, there is a coincidence, or I have rather a good one. Come, sit down on the grass here and listen to the tale I have decided to call the Faceless Ones. The island of Sodor has many fine examples of infrastructure, but you will often find the most impressive along the railways on Sodor, from bridges such as the Sodor Suspension Bridge and the Viaduct to grand stations such as Knapford and Vickerstown. Another form of railway infrastructure are tunnels. There are many of these across the island, but many will immediately think of the mainline tunnel infamously known as Henry's Tunnel. One night, Murdoch was returning to Knapford from Barrow with a late night stopping goods. He was struggling to stay awake, but as part of his consist was important vaccines for the General Hospital in Wellsworth, he didn't mind. As he rounded a bend, he saw the mouth of a tunnel looming up towards him.
That's funny. I don't remember a tunnel on this stretch of line.
Nor do I, boy. But with this fog, it's hard to say where exactly we are.
Nevertheless, with a blast of his whistle, Murdoch plunged into the tunnel. Much to his surprise, it was incredibly dark in the tunnel, his lamps barely even making a dent in the darkness. The tunnel seemed to go on for miles, with barely any end in sight.
Mercy me, this is a long tunnel.
Hang on, boy. I think I can see the other end of the tunnel.
Sure enough, they exited the mouth of the tunnel and out into the open air. By now, the fog had grown even thicker. Murdoch cursed as his driver reduced speed.
I can't believe this. I can barely see past my nose.
Oh, I don't like this. I reckon we ought to stop at the next station and find out exactly where we are. If only so we can guarantee we won't get accidentally switched onto a branch line.
Well, we're in luck. There's the station coming up. Hold on, I'll slow down and bring us to a stop.
Murdoch slid into the platform, peering through the fog in an attempt to spot a station board or a landmark that could help him make out wherever he was. As he came to a stop, he noticed a man in the uniform of a station master tending to a flower bed.
Ah, there's the station master. I'm sure he'll know where we are. Excuse me, sir, do you know what station this is?
Murdoch trailed off as the station master turned to face him, revealing that, to his horror, the man had no face, or rather, he had a face, yet lacked features. Where there should have been eyes, nose, and mouth was nothing but smooth skin. The faceless figure seemingly stared at the 9F before suddenly pointing at him and letting out a muffled cry. Murdoch couldn't be sure, but he thought the man shouted the word "Intruder!" As if in response to this, from all directions there came a similar cry, and as Murdoch and his crew watched, the doors of the house opposite the station and track opened, and more faceless figures appeared. They seemed to vary in all categories. Some were short, and some were tall. Some were old, and some were young. There was a faceless policeman, and there was even a faceless fat controller.
What in God's name are these things?
It's like they're people that someone rubbed out the faces.
Oh, let's get out of here. I don't get the feeling they're very friendly.
The driver threw open the regulator, and Murdoch snorted and huffed as he surged out of the station and powered down the line. The faceless ran after them, baying like dogs. Some even managed to grab hold of the handles of the brake van, but fell back as the guard, totally frightened out of his wits, swung at them with the butt of the brake van's fire extinguisher. Murdoch hooted and wheeshed as he cleared the ones that tried to block the line.
For crying out loud, why don't they just give up already?
Hey, they're backing off. It must be because we're approaching that tunnel up ahead.
But why would that stop them? If they're determined enough to try and block the line, I can't see why a tunnel should put them off. Oh God, maybe they've set up an ambush on the other side?
Well, if they have, they'll soon regret it. Barty, give me everything you've got.
You got it, boy.
The driver threw the regulator open wide, and Murdoch surged into the tunnel, whistling long and loud. He shut his eyes, gritted his teeth, and bellowed in fury as he rushed through the tunnel. Much to his surprise, he found no hastily erected barricades or damaged track, nor any sign of their featureless pursuers. He also noticed that the fog had lifted. Eventually, they spotted the familiar sight of Wellsworth ahead. Murdoch sighed with relief, but immediately tensed as he noticed a uniformed figure standing on the platform, waving a red flag. But he immediately sighed with relief as he noticed the station master had a normal-looking face, even if his expression was one of frustration. Murdoch let out a big whoosh of steam as his driver put on the brakes and opened the cylinder cocks. The station master huffed and tapped his foot on the platform.
Where the heck have you been? You were supposed to be here 20 minutes ago with those vaccines. Even with the speed restrictions, it shouldn't have taken you this long to get here from Kilden.
We actually... You know what? I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
No, I wouldn't. Not that I even care. Now, pull your socks up and help the porters load those vaccines into the back of the ambulance out in the yard.
Murdoch watched as his crew assisted the porters with the transfer of the vaccines and began to wonder. Had it all been a dream? No. He surely couldn't have been tired to the point that he fell asleep whilst in transit. It just wasn't like him, and besides, his crew would surely have woken him. To this day, Murdoch has been unable to find the 2 tunnels he went through, despite searching the main line and any maps his crew can find of it thoroughly. In addition, he has also failed to locate the unnamed town and station the Faceless chased them out of. He has slowly come to the conclusion that the 2 tunnels he passed through were, in fact, portals to another realm inhabited by Faceless and seemingly hostile creatures. Murdoch just hopes that his inability to find the portals means that there will be little chance of any of the Faceless crossing over into our world. Good evening. I think you'll find it beneficial to your continuing health if you decide to cooperate willingly with us, as opposed to proving to be difficult. Well, what a tale that was, my good traveller. Why were they so hostile towards Murdoch and his crew? Well, for the same reason people of a lighter hue are prejudiced towards people of a darker hue, that they feel these newcomers to their land were different, and that difference is bad. What would have happened if they'd been caught? My dear traveller, I shudder to think. The clock doth toll the hour, and summons me back to my work. Stay safe as you walk along your road, dear traveller, and mind you steer clear of any tunnels if you can help it. Who knows if you'll ever be seen again, should you dare to enter.